Hello everybody, welcome back to our series that we've been putting out, or we started to put out on side saddle repair. Today we are going to be showing you how to repair 2 points on an Owen side saddle. My director tells me the saddle is over 100 years old, and so we're going to make a couple repairs and show you how we do it. Just as a little side note, my director wanted me to explain a little bit of my background. Why don't you come around and show the people the pictures. This is an airplane I built about 30 years ago. It's an all fiberglass airplane. Took about 4,000 man hours to build. And in fact, Jeannie and I were dating when we were building this plane. And you can see there's in-flight shots. This is me in the plane flying. And we were in formation, had a lot of fun that day. That was out in El Paso, Texas. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and get set up and get started here. Okay, so here we have the area that we're going to start repairing. And what happened was this started out to be a simple, a cover repair?
Billet and strap repair.
Billet and strap. When the material was removed, we found a lot more damage with a cracked piece of wood here. Actually, two. There's this crack all the way down here, and then there's a crack over here.
The side saddle tree.
And what we're going to do to repair this is we're going to open this up a little bit to get some epoxy down in here, and then we're going to reclamp everything and let it set up for 2 days. Over here we have a point that it basically chipped off, and my finger comes down about that side on the point, and that's how much we have to work with. So I'm going to fill this and then glass over it to reinforce it. And we'll be showing you how we do that. So the first thing we're going to do is to prep this thing. And what I'm going to do is put a little groove in the wood so that I have a place to work with the epoxy and the flocks mix. I'll explain flocks later. It's a filler material. And I'm going to do the same down here. So what I'm doing is wedging a screwdriver in there so I can turn it slightly and open it up. The object is to open it up and get epoxy in there so we can get that thing filled in order to get a good bond.
And you'll notice we've got the saddle covered like a little surgical area, so it's prepped and protected from any drips from epoxy material. We don't want that to get on the leather. Okay, come over here.
Okay, the materials we're going to use for this project, there's several here. My favorite for epoxy is West System. There's others you can use. The airplane was built with safety epoxy. Very good material, but it was stinky. This stuff is basically odorless and has worked out really well. It's used a lot in the marine business. So we have the epoxy resin, and then we have the 206 hardener. And one of the reasons I like epoxy, first of all, it's a whole lot easier to work with. It has there's about a 30 to 45 minute working time, which is great because it takes a while to wet the glass out. And then you got to refit things and move things around. So you got a lot of working time. The other reason I like it is because it's structurally stronger. This cotton here, these cotton fibers, this is called flax. And basically it's just chopped up cotton. And what this is used for is for filling. Okay, so I think we're ready to mix. You'll notice these pumps here. These pumps are I highly recommend if you do something like this, the pumps are metered so that one push of this pump equals one push of this pump. And it kicks out the right amount of material for the right ratio. Okay, that was one. And one. Okay.
And you're using just a regular, like, popsicle stick to stir.
Yep.
How do you tell when it's mixed?
You just keep mixing, and it really mixes up quick. It's a kind of a clear solution. All right. Come on over here.
Okay, we got the clamps in place. I was just adding a little extra material.
Okay, we're going to start working on the other point here, and basically I'm trying to get some support, and I'm just going to stuff a rag behind there, and then between the rag and the point I'm going to put wax paper and a piece of cardboard, and that way I've got, what I'm trying to do is follow the form of the point, which will, you know what, before I do that, I want to get in there and do a little cleanup. This is a die grinder. Fantastic tool, but you can also use a rasp, whatever. Okay, so perfect. I'm trying to get a base underneath the repair area to support the epoxy flux mix. Okay, now I'm going to take the epoxy that I still have, and I'm going to precisely add some material.
Can you give everybody an idea of how much they should be adding?
Nope, it's all by feel and whatever consistency you're looking for. I'm going to gob it underneath just a little bit and let it come. See how when it sprung back up, it kind of pushed the material up. Now I can come back to about here since I'm going to glass this point. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in right around the metal there, because we're going to glass, correct, from this up.
Correct.
Once we get everything, I'm going to add just a little bit more. It's trying to run on me. And
It's hard to see until I look out of the camera, but I can see how gooey it is. It doesn't look so much like that through the camera.
And don't be afraid to put it on heavy. And most of this will be taken off. What I'm doing is filling in a little bit at the metal so that we have a nice transition for the glass. Fiberglass. Okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay. I think that just about does it. I'm gonna put a couple wedges in. See if we can get that there. See, what I did was by putting those sticks underneath there, I pushed some of that flux back up. And what I want is I want excess material that I can then form to what form we want. If I don't get enough material in there, I'll have to come back in with another layer of flux. I really don't want to do that. It starts to get a little costly because you're going to end up mixing a lot more than you need. You can see the long point. Hardened up pretty good. I'm going to let this, let's see I'll pull the wax. See how easy the wax paper came out? I want to wait another 24 hours for that to dry. But from what I can tell, it's really looking good. So I'd like to conclude by one thing I'd like to mention, two things actually. If you could subscribe, doesn't cost anything, but we're trying to build our subscriber base. I'd very much appreciate it if you guys would hit the subscribe button. And the other is, I don't work on Facebook. Jeannie works on Facebook, and that's where a lot of this gets launched. But I'd sure appreciate it if I could hear back some of your comments at the YouTube site, and that way I can hear read your feedback and make adjustments going forward. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on them. If you have any tips or want any tips on projects you're working on, I'd be happy to take a look at them. Just talk to Jeannie and or leave a comment at the site. And you might want to think about sending pics too. So anyways, this is it for now. I'll be working on this tomorrow. It's Saturday morning, and I'm going to start in on this. It should be ready for continuation. Tomorrow we're going to grind off the excess material here and apply glass on both sides. And then we're going to apply glass to the tip. Actually, on this, it's going to be a combination of flocks and glass together. Will make for a very strong combination. But from what I can tell, this looks really good. It has bonded. So, until the next video, it'll be episode 2. Thank you much, and we'll see you soon.